Now, you may have seen this video making the rounds on social media. A motley group of dogs, if we can say that about them, 7 of them to be precise, walking together along a highway in China. The video captured people's imaginations and inspired vast speculation. Were they trying to escape entrapment together? Well, in the end, most of the theories online were debunked. The dogs seemed to have wandered off from a nearby village, but they did eventually return home somehow. But the original image of this unexpected gang travelling together is real, and it stayed in people's minds. To talk to us about why and tell us what this video tells us about dogs' behaviour, we're joined by Heather Thomas, who's a clinical animal behaviourist. It reminded me a little bit, Heather, of the book Harry McClary, who goes off with his friends from Donaldson's Dairy. What do you observe about these dogs in this group?
Hello, good evening. So when I first watched that video, I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is that the dogs are clearly wanting to stay together as a group. Dogs are social species, so they should want to as well. What's really interesting, though, from a behavioural science perspective, is that dogs naturally synchronise their movement with other dogs. So coordinated group movement like this doesn't necessarily require a leader as such, but they just respond to each other around them. If you watch the video, there is quite a lot of loose formation at times, and you can see some dogs that are moving closer proximity to other dogs. Specifically, people talk about the German Shepherd. And that gives the impression they might be shielding or protecting that individual. However, that footage alone, we can't really clearly identify what's going on there, and we need to be really careful we're not over-interpreting what we're seeing and we're not labelling. It's really important that we don't project our human intentions onto dogs so quickly. For dogs, staying together reduces any stress, uncertainty, particularly in unfamiliar environments. So obviously we don't know what's going on. So what we're really observing is social cohesion.
But how unusual is this size of group, 7 of them?
I don't think that unusual. Anecdotally, I've been on holiday and seen groups of dogs like this on the beaches. They live a very different life to what they do in the UK. So no, I think it's quite normal sometimes.
Is there a hierarchy?
Well, I knew you were going to ask that. So in terms of the idea that the corgi is the ringleader, which I've seen quite a lot of, I wouldn't say that we can confidently draw up the conclusion from this specific clip. Modern behavioural research now actually shows that dogs don't operate in a fixed hierarchy or a strict leadership structure in the way that we often assume they do. Instead, they have social relationships which are very much like ours, our friendship group. So some dogs may appear to lead simply because they're just more confident or they have more exploratory in them at that moment, at that time. But we also know that from studies on group movement of dogs, they will often follow a line with others automatically.
Just very quickly, and then navigation through smell, is it? Just quickly.
Yeah, so everybody knows that dogs have an incredible, extraordinary sense of smell, and this is how they primarily navigate. However, there has been some loose studies about them having a bit of sensitivity to a magnetic field, so a bit like an internal compass, if you like. But the other thing is that they will be able to get scent cues, they'll understand visual landmarks, which may help them to get back home, essentially.
Yeah, good memories. Thank you very much for talking to us, Heather Thomas. Good to get your more scientific perspective on these things. You can hear more about this story on The Happy Pod. It's home to all the quirkiest, happiest news from the BBC on BBC Sounds.